Stocks are sexy because other people make money off of them, but that alone is not gonna get you to financial independence early.
And welcome to the Nurse Boss Shift, you guys. It's your girl, Dr. Kiana Jones.
And I'm Crystal P, the Beauty NP.
And we are here to welcome our wonderful Angel Mathis. And I hope I said your name right, Angel Mathis, right?
You got it.
Accurate?
That was perfect.
Okay. Angel Mathis, who is coming on here, of course, to just provide a lot of knowledge and value to our listeners. You guys know what we bring to you every single week. And Miss Angel is no exception. Miss Angel, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It means so much to me to be here with the two of you and within the guests that you have on who I love and adore and have loved listening to. My name is Angel Mathis. I am a financially free nurse millionaire, founder of Nurses Investing for Wealth. I work because I want to, when I want to, and I have created the first financial literacy program that's been State Board of Nursing approved in the USA. I've been a nurse since 2002, so more than 20 years, a nurse practitioner since 2008, more than 15 years. And I'm the past president of the King County Nurse Association in Seattle, American Nurses Association Advocacy Institute Fellow. I have been a researcher, worked for the National Institute of Health, done vaccine research, and you will see some of the work that I've done featured in journals like JAMA, New England Journal of Medicine, Pediatrics. And I am just so surprised with where I am in my life because I was raised in a pretty, let's just say, humble beginnings. I was raised from humble beginnings, and I never dreamed that I would be a person who worked when they wanted to because they wanted to as early as at the age of 35 years old. And so breaking that generational poverty cycle that was passed down to me is something that I surprise myself by. And I'm really happy about it. But I also realize that I have done a lot of work and put together a lot of pieces of puzzles to understand that this wasn't an accident and that nurses everywhere can do it. And I'm not special. What I know is that I'm not special because I haven't received a major inheritance or won the lottery. I wish, but I'm not special. And what I know now is that there's just a series of steps that nurses can follow to also create this same freedom in their own lives. And that's what I'm trying to bring them.
Yes. Can I just ask you to say that one liner again you said at the beginning? Because that was, you said, what did you say? Financially, whatever you said. Say it again. It was good.
You're lucky I have it written down so I can just see what what it says, which is but this is truth too. I am a financially free nurse millionaire who works because I want to, when I want to. And I would add on to that where I want to with who I want to.
That's the part.
Those are all so important to me.
That's what I wanted to hear again.
One-liner of all one-liners.
I love that one-liner. I was like, oh, okay, come on now.
You go do it too.
So let's talk about getting there, okay? Yes, no, it's right. It's true. And it is something that I don't think people realize, like it's a strategy and a system to get there, right? And so my question was going to be to you, like what regarding like the first steps to this financial freedom, this attainment of financial freedom.
Yes.
Looking back, of course, when you're in it, you're in grind mode, you're in hustle mode, you're like getting it. And then at some point you look up and you're like, whoa, like I just made this, or I just generated that. But then what do you look back at from your perspective and say, okay, you can clearly see like what happened? Like what was that one moment that made the pivot or, led to you like having a cascade of events that got you here?
Yeah. Yeah. So, that one thing, right? It's so hard to pick that one thing with money because money is a bundle of things that comes together in an order. But I want to say, first of all, I want to recognize my late grandma who, when I was born, gave me a $50 US savings bond. And I that has essentially made me a lifelong investor. Now, that savings bond is more of a sentiment has more of a sentimental meaning to me than anything because I still have it. It doesn't even earn interest anymore, but I still have it and I touch it and it has her writing on it and I touch it and I just think that she had a hope for me and I feel like if there was one thing in my life, it was that someone had a hope for me, which is a true blessing, right? We cannot replace those people in our lives that give us that. Now, let's get a little bit more practical though, right? Because probably we can't go back in time and all have our grandmas give us a $50 savings bond and some hope. But what we can do, and what I teach nurses in my program to do, the very first thing that I teach nurses in my program to do is to identify their North Star values, because that is how you can understand what purpose money has in your life. So I'll give you my own personal example. I have two North Star values: adventure, independence. Those are my two North Star values. So everything, when I look at my life, everything really is everything that I use my money for that I feel good about comes down to those two things: adventure and independence. Now, are there other things that are important to me in my life? Heck yes, yes. But do they fall into those kind of paths? Yes, they do too. And so the very first thing is to get clear on what are your pick two North Star values. And Brene Brown in the book Dare to Lead helps you work through that. It's very easy. She has a list and you can just kind of go through the list and pick it out. But the very first thing to do is to know what those two values are, because when you know that, you get rid of that sense of fear of missing out. When you don't have that worry of that person over there has the thing, I should also have the thing. You just say, but my what I want in my life is this, and that's what I'm going to put my money towards, and then everything else just kind of falls into line. And so that's the one thing. That's the one thing that I would say start with. Identify your values. Then when you spend money, when you buy things, when you buy a house or a boat or a business or whatever you're buying, does it, for me, lead to adventure, independence? If not, I know it's not a good fit for me and I'm not feeling bad about it.
I really like that.
Me
Cause
too.
and I always say like, where are you going? And if that road that you're taking is not taking you in the direction, yes, you're gonna make left, right, U-turn and as you're going on this journey. But like if it's on the freeway that's taking you north when your journey is south, then you know not to make that decision because it's not in alignment with where your destination is. And so I love the North Star and especially having more than one because
Mhm.
that gives you more range as well to have more flexibility in making those decisions. I really, truly like that. Go ahead, Grace.
I was gonna say, I think that it also, brings you back down to earth to, having those because then, like you say, you don't feel so bad about it. Like, I want that bag, but is that gonna bring me the freedom that I essentially want? No, it's not. But once I get that freedom, then maybe I'll have extra to be able to splurge. So I like that it keeps you in perspective of where you're headed and where you want to
Yeah.
go.
what you're saying, Crystal, is getting to how we all are going to have different values too. And some people that I work with, their values are to get the bag. And so go for it, like I want you to have the bag if that somehow fits into your values. I love it for you, and they are happy, I'm happy for them, we're all happy, right? And so I like that you just pulled that out, which is like, just know what that thing is for you, because that's the only way you can be happy with your money. You can create happiness in lots of ways in life, but when it comes to your money, spending it in a way that makes you feel good, and that's what I call values-based spending, you can't go wrong with that.
Can we talk about though? Okay, so getting to the bag, right? And we know nurses like to get to the bag. But what about the the route in which they're taking to get to the bag? Because there are a lot less um there are a lot of roads traveled that requires a lot less effort if we were just willing to make short-term sacrifices. And I think that a lot of us are very misinformed to think the only way to get to the bag is to pick up extra shifts, to work hard, to work hard, to work hard. And so maybe you can provide us, because I know the way you attain this level of freedom, which was getting to the bag, although your focus was at, like you said, adventure and what was the other one? Adventure
Independence. My 2 are adventure and independence.
and
Yeah.
independence. Yeah. So but that had to require a level of getting to the bag in order to have that. Although your goal was not getting to the bag. So what do you I mean, how do you feel about that perspective of not having to work yourself like a dog to get to the bag?
Okay, so I'm gonna be the last person that will ever tell a nurse to work harder, pick up more. I do not believe in that. I've never believed in it for myself. Adventure, independence, that's me. That's not what my system is based on. My system is so what I tell people is that, you know, sure, you can, to use the cliche, work harder, work smarter, not harder. So I still work as a nurse now. I took a long time of I took 5 years off from nursing, but I went back to it. My husband is also a nurse. We When we work, we're like,
Oh.
we're going to pick up the highest paid shifts because that's like one less day that we'll work.
Mhm.
And when we work, we there are so many ways as nurses that we can game the system. So, we use those strategies in our life. But to your question a little bit more deeply, which is, you know, okay, back up a second. First of all, I've never been a high earning nurse. I know that most everybody here listening, maybe I don't actually know exactly who's in your audience. I know that you too make a lot more than me because I've listened to your podcast now and I know that about you. And you too, you women are taking home the bag. I'm like, wow, they're really crushing it in life. Me, though, I have never been a high earning nurse. I started at $16 an hour. When I got to 35, which was now 8 years ago, so I'm 43 now. When I got to 35, I was financially independent. I was making $40 an hour still as a nurse practitioner. I have never been a high earning nurse, but what I did was because I am uh very interested in the way that money flows in and out of my life. I've set up my systems. And so what I did is I was able to, what you said, Dr. Jones, is I was able to make that money, like make an easier path, right? So my money is getting put to work for me in investments, making sure that I am not missing opportunities for investing the money that I have. So the most common mistakes that nurses make There are several, but the most common mistakes nurses make is they oversave in cash. So they're just getting all this money and they're putting it in a bank account because they don't know what else to do with it. So that means in this last year alone, that means that $100 last year is $90 this year because inflation went up by 10%, right? So that's a huge mistake. And when it's not getting invested, you're missing out on those returns that you could be making. So that talk about the easier path to wealth. If you just know how much you really need to have in the bank account and then how much you actually have left over to be investing, then you're taking that $100 instead of having $90 this year, now you have $110 this year. And so that's the easy path to wealth. Money that you don't work to earn, money that you need to know how to click the right buttons on the computer. That's the easy path to wealth. And that's what I want nurses to know is that it's a series of steps that I walk you through, and it's about investing, but investing is just one small piece of our money puzzle, right? We have this huge money puzzle because I say money is like water. It fills up all the holes in our lives, right? It's everywhere in our life. So we can't just focus on investing the right way. We have to focus on this whole bigger picture and maximize all of these opportunities to create all of our easy paths. And so, long answer, but bringing it back, which is that there are a lot of ways that we can make our money go further, and we don't have to be always striving to increase our salaries. We should always be getting paid more, period. I'm always going to say that about nurses, but but we can make that money that we have, no matter how much it is that we have, go further always.
Can I restate that? Can I restate it in like probably less than 10 words?
I would love
If you
that.
want to get to the bag, learn how learn how to invest your money. That's the true cheat code to get into the bag. It's really not about working hard to get to the bag. It's about developing a skill set that can pay you time over time over time. That's what it's about. Whether it's learning money or, like you said, learning a digital something, you guys, if you guys are still doing in this old adage of picking up extra shift to make money, unless you're making that extra shift money work for you,
Right.
you are losing. Okay, that I just said it. I just restated that, Angel.
I love it.
Go ahead,
I love it.
Chris.
I get so
Uh, I
wordy.
wanted to ask.
No, no, because I think a lot of people, especially us nurses, I know I lived in like anytime I was doing anything, it was like, how many shifts is that? How many shifts is
Mhm.
that? How many shifts is that going to take?
Yep.
But what if I would have picked up extra shifts and put it in the S&P 500? Like, what if I knew to do that? My life would be different right now from 15 years ago when I entered into nursing. I just didn't know, right? So I really do love that. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
I was just going to ask one, how did you start to educate yourself about money and investing? And then, what are some simple ways that nurses who say, okay, I get it. How do I start?
So there are a million ways to
What would you
learn
say?
this information. You can Google search, you can listen to podcasts, you can read books, you can hire a financial advisor, you can take a class. There are so many ways that you can learn this information. And that was the first part of your question. The second part of your question was how do people, what was it?
Well,
Sorry.
How did you learn?
how did you start to learn?
Here's the thing though. It took me 10 years. It took me losing. Get ready. Get ready. This is going to blow your mind. Maybe. I don't know. It took me losing $357,000 to a financial advisor.
Oof.
Oh,
It
wow.
is a hard road to learn.
Mhm.
And This is not I before I like to say this, before you think I'm some kind of naive nitwit, because sometimes I look back on that and I think, "Oh, I wish that wouldn't have happened." Well, it did, and I'm still fine,
Mhm,
right? I'm
mhm,
still fine,
Mhm.
but that's what learning it on your own costs you.
yeah,
And so when you think that it's free to learn things on your
mhm,
own, there are
yeah,
costs
Mhm.
that you don't always
right,
see.
Yeah.
And I know now, I didn't see those when they were happening, but when I look back on it, I know now that that's what it cost me. And I know for a fact this is what it's costing so many nurses, all of the nurses inside of the program that I teach, because we do the math on it and we see what are they saving in the long
mhm,
run just by learning this fast. And it's been 17,000, 24,000, $350,000. And so those are the costs. That's the true cost of learning it on your
yeah,
own.
Yeah.
But you can, and I did, and you can do it. Anybody can do it.
mhm,
It's just going to take
yeah,
time
And time is money.
and
Time is money.
money that you're missing out on earning.
right,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And time is
Mhm.
money. That's
Mhm.
right.
And
Yeah.
it costs you more. What you don't know costs you more than what you know. And people don't understand that. You are literally every day that you don't understand how to bring in additional revenue, you're losing. You're losing.
yeah,
And I don't care what that looks like. It may be a side business for them, or it may be learning, the stock market, or learning, being more financially literate, whatever it is. But like, the money that you're losing is way more than what you it would take to invest and get someone else. Like, if she lost over $300,000 and she's able to bring that value to you and say, "Hey, these are the mistakes I made," like, that is worth its weight in gold.
yeah,
And so I have a reel on Instagram, and I say,
Mm.
you wanna get 20 years of experience in one here are two ways to get 20 years of experience in a year. And then I say the first thing is to hire someone with 20 years of experience and work with them for a year. And that's one way. Another way is to identify books of authors who have 20 years of experience collectively, and read the books and study them and execute, right?
yeah,
And actually implement the strategies. There are ways, or you can pay someone who has a mentorship, whatever, to do a one to one. Like, there are so many different ways you can get. And why would you not? It's the cheat code. It's literally the hack to financial freedom, and you don't even have to go through all the heartache. You will have some, by the way. There's no way around that. But like, don't you want to avoid the common pitfalls, common mistakes that people make? Like, why not do that and just make the investment? But I think one of the first things about that, Angel, is realizing that you're not paying, you're investing. When you hire someone or you pay for someone's system, to understand it is an investment. And as with an investment, the expectation is that you're going to get a return, a positive return on that investment. But it also is under the assumption that you're going to do the work,
right,
because it's not just about you paying for it if you're not willing to,
Amen.
to do the work.
yeah,
So let's talk about your system, though.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. Let's talk about your system, though. You have nurses
Yeah.
investing for wealth method. Can you talk to us about that? That sounds really good. And it's trademarked, by the way.
right,
Tell us about it.
There are really 5 components to it, and those 5 components line up with the 5 modules that I teach. So the first component is understanding the wealth ladder, right? There are ways that you should use your money. There's an order that you should use your money, and there's about 16 steps to that order. And most people try to start up here at the top level, like, "Let me put my money into this random account, let me put my money into this IRA," but do they know how to invest it? No, not usually. They don't know how to buy stocks or bonds or analyze them. So we start like, whoa, let's bring it down. Let's bring it down. Let's go through this order so that you know, first of all, where you're at right now. And second of all, the next step to take so that you stop wasting time trying to work ahead and then losing out trying to work. So that's the first step. Second step is being able to track your data so you know if your system is working or not, or if you see red flags, you can fix them right away. So I tell people exactly how to do that. I teach people how to do that. The third step is that one that most people think they're interested in first, which is learning how to invest. Everyone want that's like the thing that people see, right? Like I want to learn how to invest. Good, I'm glad. I want people to know this, but it's the third step, right? So we've already we've already hit 2 steps. Now we're on the third. So investing, knowing how to analyze stocks and bonds, knowing what to buy, what's right for you. Everyone comes to me and they say, "Oh, well, I have a high risk tolerance." Well, what are you basing that on? It's a mathematical equation. It's not a feeling. And it's that simple. And so we go through that mathematical equation, set it up so that then you can choose what the right stocks and bonds for you are for you. Then from there, we do I&O, nurses' favorites, I&Os. So what's coming in, what's going out, and how to effortlessly look at that. It's not budgeting. It's different from budgeting. It's different because it it makes money effortless and it makes you line your spending, what comes in and goes out up with your values, 1. So we already talked about the importance of that. And then 2, it makes it possible for you to find money you already earn and invest it. So you don't have to pick up those extra shifts. You don't have to work harder. You can see what do you have and put it to work. So you get more length out of the money that you have. And then the fifth step is advanced strategies. And that's kind of like taxes, making sure that you're getting the most out of taxes. Now we can look at those advanced accounts. Now we can make sure that setting up generational wealth because you have all of that other background knowledge and you're setting up all of these accounts. Um, very important. We look at how do you even know when you're financially free? That's also not a guess. That's also not a feeling. That is a very specific number that you can calculate and you can take into account all kinds of different things like for you all it might be your business income. A lot of people might take into account their real estate revenue. A lot of people will take into account their pensions or their social security or taxes, inflation. Those all go in and then you can decide and you can see when are your investments generating enough revenue for you to live off of forever. So that's the fifth step. So that's the whole system in a nutshell, in a quick view.
And so when you say, and this is so true, when you say about stocks, I feel like it's the sexy topic. That's why people just gravitate to like wanting thinking they need to learn about stocks. But I feel like what you're saying is your system kind of like you said, there's a lot of holes and a lot of ways to fill up with water. And so you focus on like the big picture and like all those different areas of that can attain financial freedom cumulatively together, they're much more stronger than just focusing on one aspect of financial freedom, like stocks, right? That's what I'm getting.
Exactly. And this is a huge issue in the finance industry. What do financial advisors help you with? They help you with buying things in the stock market, they help you with selling you insurance, right? That's
Right.
why. Why is that? Because they make money off of it,
Mhm.
right? But do they
Mhm.
help you with all of these other things? Do they help you understand even? Do
Yeah.
they educate you? No, they don't.
Mhm.
And this is why they keep us trapped working with them because you don't understand what they're saying. This is true for me. I will say this
No, it's
is what
true. It's
happened
no,
to
you're
me.
right.
I did not
Nope, it's
know
true.
what was coming out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I worked with one for 10 years, and I still didn't know what was coming out of his mouth, and I had a bad gut feeling for a long, long, long
Mhm.
time, and when I said one day, "I think I can do my investing better on my own," and he said, "Yeah, you probably can," I was
Mm.
gobsmacked. I just couldn't believe it, and I thought, "Wow." Nurses deserve
Yeah.
better. We work
Yes.
so freaking hard for the
Oh,
money that we
yes.
earn. We need to keep it
Mm,
in our
Yeah.
pockets,
mm.
and I'm over it. I'm over that. So, going back though, I got on my soapbox. I'm getting hot over here.
Nah.
But, going back to say that stocks are sexy because other people make money off of them,
Mhm.
but that alone is not gonna get you to financial independence
Yeah.
early.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We are nurses. We're not gonna work until 65. No one ever tells me, "I love my job so much, I can't wait to work in it until I'm 65." No, the nurses that I work with are saying things like, "Whew, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, the system is kinda messed up,
Yeah.
um, I need other options." That's how
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
felt, that's my background too, and so we're getting there. We have to use all of this more robust system to look at our money to get the most out of it so that we can unlock that financial independence sooner, and the finance industry fails us because they so often only focus on that one sexy
Mhm.
topic, and we see this with other funny coaches and mentors too. They focus on that one topic, but we miss so many other opportunities out
Mhm.
there to
Mhm.
get this length out of our money that we need.
And I was just gonna say, I'm sure a huge part of that, or what you're saying is, especially as nurses, just teaching them to understand money as a whole. So I like that the investing part are later steps because I think the most important part, like you said, is just understanding money and how it works. Um,
Mm.
and because it so easily comes, we make it, we spend it. Really understanding the value of money and making it work for you is something we all need, but also a major hurdle because a lot of nurses don't understand, I feel like. So I'm glad that your program does it that way to teach the
Yeah.
importance of money and the true
Yeah.
value of money.
Yeah, and I just honestly just listening to you talking, like, I think, like, I don't trust a lot of financial people because I know their motives. And so it's nice and refreshing to have someone who really can appreciate and who really truly understands, not just surface level, but on a more deeper level, how hard we work and the sacrifices we make. Like, that's Crystal and I's connection to this community, to nurses. It's just like, I don't care what nobody say. Nobody, no, you will never be able to convince me that they understand where we come from, like our perspective as nurses and what sacrifices we make emotionally, mentally, physically. And like, I don't care what other aspect of, I know I'm biased, but I don't care. Like, and so to have someone who can teach us, who understands that part and have more of a connection with us and like really want us to make it because you have achieved it
Right.
is just a different experience, I think, and will be a different experience for nurses who come into your program.
Yes.
So I definitely want to commend you for that and thank you for
Yes.
that. The next thing is your program is the first state board of nursing approved financial literacy program, and it's called the Ultimate Nurse Investing,
Yeah.
right? Tell us about that. Like, that's amazing because I know that it is very difficult. It's not difficult if you're offering like clinical stuff, but this is a whole different like
Right.
perspective. So tell us about that and what it means for you in your business.
First of all, I am really proud and happy that the Florida State Board of Nursing recognized the importance of basically like this self-care method of um this self-care component of money in nurses' lives. And so I'm really glad that this board of nursing is doing it. I think that a lot more nurse-led organizations, associations, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that in the future because when nurses have financial independence, when nurses have financial freedom, it eliminates fear of retaliation. It eliminates concern of having to do a job because you have to do a job to get a paycheck. When I became financially independent and became work optional, I actually had left nursing for a while. I left for about 5 years, and I didn't know that I was gonna go back because I was kinda over it. But when it came for my license renewal and I needed practice hours, I returned. And what happened when I returned is the same old stuff. I was bullied by a coworker. I was put into a system that tried to lay off all of the nurse practitioners on my team, and, so fought that bully, fought that system, um, got involved with a union, all of this same old stuff, getting asked to work more for no pay, all of the same stuff. I know that everybody's mind is like, "Oh, yeah, and that thing that happened to me and that" it was all the same stuff. So going back into it 5 years later, now with the mindset of, "This place needs me more than I need them." Like, "This place means nothing to me. I don't need this paycheck." And so I came out guns blazing. I was like, "Look, no, I'm not putting up with that kind of behavior. No, I'm not doing that either. If you want me to stay here, I'm not put" Well, what did financial independence give me? Fearless advocacy, not only for myself, but for my colleagues. I was the face of this stuff a lot of times, like, taking the brunt of it because I felt really empowered, like, "I don't need this." And for my patients, when I saw these patient care things coming up over and over again, it's like, "No, we're changing that. That's dangerous for this patient. We're not gonna tolerate this just because it's easier for somebody sitting up there somewhere who I don't even know making this decision." Okay, so the point is that more financially independent nurses. So when I made my case to the board of nursing, more financially independent nurses. One nurse's financial independence is another nurse's power. Fearless advocacy for other nurses, for our patients, making the healthcare system safer, better. The board of nursing accepted it. And so I'm really glad, and I think they should. And I think that when more nurses, and I truly, truly believe that when more nurses have financial independence, we are gonna be a force to be reckoned with. We already are, but I mean, getting all of these nurses out there who are like, "I'm not putting up with that even more," you know? We're not gonna settle for a 1% raise. We're not gonna do that anymore. And I feel like there's a lot of power behind that. And that's why the board of nursing approved it in the end.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, I feel like nurses who are living at their self actualization, even if you just still decide to stay at the bedside, you're just even much more happier,
Yeah.
right? Because, like, I think the most miserable nurses are the ones that think this is it. Like, I have to do this until I'm 65, 70, whatever retirement is. I have no way out. Like, this is it. I would be miserable too if I was in an unhappy environment and I felt like I had no way out. The best thing we can do for nurses, I feel, is provide them with other avenues to bring in additional revenue. Because when I stopped working as a full-time bedside nurse only after 3 years of being a full-time bedside nurse, and then every year after that was all per diem, and I was so happy working those 4 days a month, honey. Nothing bothered me. They'd be like, "Oh, you're out of ratio, whatever," which is rare in California, but this happens sometimes. I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Oh no, it's great." Plus, the pay was well because I was working for UCLA, so we were the top pay being paid in Southern California. Listen, I was happy as a clam. Only had to do 12 hours 1 day a week.
Mhm.
I was happy. And so looking back on that is when I started to say, you know what? The most unhappy people were the ones who were, first of all, working a lot, had no plan, who had no exit strategy. Just they were unhappy because they thought this was the end all be all. Of course, they were unhappy.
Oh, I was just going to piggyback off that. I always say that entrepreneurship cured my burnout, but that's why essentially it's just the freedom of having something outside of the hospital. And it made me too such a happier nurse. Like I went in, nothing really bothered me. It's like, okay, I'm here my one day and then I'm doing my own thing in my business. This is just supporting my business. So whatever. So yeah, I think, and essentially it is just the freedom, whether it's a business or investing, it's just the freedom of knowing that you have something outside of that hospital and that you don't need it, per se. You have other options.
Yeah, exactly. The personal agency that you have when you work on your terms is so huge. And I see in both of you that you're different from me in the sense that you are creating your own brick and mortar businesses that you go to and that you support and that you're totally, I mean, from my perspective, looks like you're crushing in. And so I think that I love seeing it, and I love how Crystal and Kiana, you both just said that you would go to those jobs knowing that you were using what you were getting there and putting it into something that was yours. And you were building something that was yours. And that has to be one of your North Star values, I would say. I would guess that that's like probably an independence trait or something like me, where you are in control of your life. You're in control of your destiny. You have that personal agency. And I love that about nurse entrepreneurs. And I love seeing that in our field right now because when I was a new nurse, I didn't know that that would ever even be an option. Nurse entrepreneurship, I didn't, it's so interesting to see what kinds of creative things nurses are coming up with now and how that's another great example how they're going to continue to develop the nursing profession and field and just extend us even further.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you,
Mhm.
Angel. And I really, really, truly love what you are doing. And I don't know if nurses really truly realize that this, like, again, I'm biased, but like, we have so much access that's untapped that we don't even realize. Like, other professions don't have this much flexibility uh, to increase their earning just by working, like, right, but with a goal, with the end in mind, to spend that extra time developing a skill. Like, we have that, and we just have to, I think we just have to leverage it more than what we are doing. And then when you add that, or you in tandem with having someone who has been where you are and who is where you want to be, and who is saying, "Hey, I'm going to show you how to do this," with the understanding that they understand the sacrifices we make in our profession. I just think it's just I don't even know how to explain it. It just makes me extremely
Mhm.
happy
Yes. Safe.
because, go ahead, Chris.
Happy and safe. You feel safe.
Yes, yes, happy and safe. I love it. Okay, so what we like to do is have like a little, we call it homework for our listeners, where you give them 3 actionable steps they can take right now, that could help them either in their financial literacy journey or generate more revenue, whatever you think, or what even helped you starting your business. Like, what made you be audacious enough to like start your own side business off of the information you learned. Whatever it is you want, just give them 3 actionable steps that they can take right now after they get off this call. I mean, this webinar. I mean, this
Okay.
podcast.
All right, let me see how I do here. The first thing that I would want to remind anybody of is to remember that your most valuable and your only irreplaceable resource is your time. So if you're not doing something with your time that you love or even that you like, you are wasting your life, period. So if you're not, I want you to think about that. Your first homework assignment is to think about that. Think about how is your week going? And is it a life that you want? Because if not, you need to get some therapy. So that would be, I would say that would be your second homework. You need to get some therapy, or I mean, maybe not therapy. Nothing's wrong with therapy. Get it if you need it. But whatever it is, if you're not doing what you want, something that you enjoy, that you feel like when you get to the other side of life and look back, you're not going to regret. If it's not that, make a change, do it. Whether that's and we talked about investing in yourself, whether that's therapy, whatever it is, just make that change. The first homework is think about how your time is being spent and start with it today. Start with it this week. The second homework that I would say is that you have people around you that are gonna help you. We all do, and sometimes it can feel scary to think about who those people are and reaching out to them. That could be someone in your family. You know what? I think I heard in this podcast, don't plan on it being your family, and I that resonated so hard with me. So if was that Dr. Jones or
Yeah.
Crystal that said that? I
Yeah.
was like, "Yes." For me, it's not
Yeah.
my family. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but still, the thing is, family or not, there are people in this community, and if you're here, you're
Mhm.
connected with 2
Mhm.
amazing women already,
Aw. Mm.
Crystal and Kiana. You already have 2 people that you could definitely touch base with and at least get direction. Just find those people, whoever they are, find those people. Who are those people that can help you know the next step to take and touch base with
Yeah.
them? And be
Yes.
in touch with those people so that because you know that they are where you want to be, right? Don't
Mhm.
waste time with
Yep.
people that are not where you want to be.
Yes.
I wish I would have known that so much longer ago.
Yes.
That is a waste of your time. Stop doing it. Okay. So that's
Yes.
2 homework ideas. Here's my third idea. Come join me. I am getting ready to release. I was hoping to have it released by today, but it's not quite there yet. I'm getting ready to release my best ever free on-demand training. And it
Mhm.
is I wrote down the title here. It's called
Fellow
How to Become
nurses.
Work Optional in 1 Hour a Month. Uh-huh, yeah, oh, yeah, you have it there.
I got it.
How to become
Yeah,
work
go ahead.
optional in 1 hour a month without burning out, wasting time on one-size-fits-all finance strategies, or falling for bogus investment ploys. So,
Nice.
I'm really excited. I put it all together, really gonna be good. I am excited about it. So, that would be your third homework. Take that training.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
something small that can really catapult you and get you to
Yes.
stretch your dollars farther the easy
Yes.
way, like we've been talking about.
And guys, did you hear? She said it's her free
Yes.
self-paced training. Did you guys hear it? Hello.
Right.
She said free. When will you be depending on this is going to air, but when do you expect that it'll be? Because we'll leave the link in the section, the what is it called,
The
the
notes. Mhm,
caption,
show notes.
the notes. We'll leave the show notes. We'll leave the link once we get that from Angel. But Angel, how long do you think before it'll be up?
It's soon. It's gonna be
Okay.
definite. I mean, I thought it would be by today, but
Okay.
it'll definitely be within the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's getting really
Okay.
close.
Okay. Okay, we'll have our person who our team member reach out to you to get that because we really want to get it to you guys. It's the first step of many, but one thing I can say is that when you are embarking on something new, you definitely want to take advantage of the cheat
Yeah.
code, the hack, right? And someone who is already doing that. So, Angel,
Mm.
can you tell us where we can find you at? On what social platforms are you? Do you have a website? How are you communicating with your tribe?
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at Nurses Investing for Wealth. And you can find me on my website, learn.nursesinvesting.com. And when that free training goes up, it'll be right there on the front page.
Perfect.
Okay. And so it's nurses investing the number 4 or FOR.
FOR.
Okay, nurses investing for wealth on Instagram. Do you have TikTok?
I do, but I have like one post from 1 year ago, so it's not gonna be very entertaining. The
Okay, okay. What
TikTok
about
could be more entertaining.
what about YouTube or any other of the socials?
I have Facebook also, but I'm just everything from my Instagram goes over to Facebook, so it's also
Okay.
Nurses Investing for Wealth.
Cool. Okay, so we got you Nurses Investing for Wealth, you guys. Make sure you follow Angel, and she'll have the link in the bio when you guys follow to take advantage
Yeah.
of that free on demand self paced course, which we all need when it comes to attaining financial or beginning the journey. Like it is really a journey, you guys. It's not going to happen in 10 days, it's not going to happen in 30 days. It is literally a journey. So, the marathon, you'll begin the marathon that's going to lead to your financial freedom.
Yes.
Uh, so, Angel, thank you so much again for joining us. We listen. I've learned a lot from you, for
Likewise.
sure. And I'm gonna go ahead and get that freebie as well. So that's what really why I was asking. It wasn't about
Right,
them. It was
right,
about
right.
me.
Exactly. Likewise. I'll be getting it
I
too
would
for
love
sure.
it.
All
I'll
right.
send
Thank
it
you
to
so
you
much. And
first so you can see it
yes,
first and give me
Yes,
feedback.
please.
yes, for sure, for sure. Thank you so much, Angel. We appreciate you for joining us. Crystal, any last words before we go?
No, I just encourage everyone to get the training and actually do one small thing. Do the steps, just execute.
Yeah.
Just execute on something because as nurses, it's so important. And it doesn't always have to be starting your own business, but at least investing your money in something else so that you have that freedom, so that you can stand up for yourself, advocate for your patients, and you can live a free, a life of freedom where you can work optionally.
Yeah.
Love that.
I love that. I would almost challenge nurses to look at it like you are doing a disservice to your patients if you're not in a position or working towards placing yourself in a position where you can be financially independent, because I really do feel like it makes you a better nurse. Like
Mhm.
then they already want you to do it from a position of servitude anyway. So there you go. You got your money bringing in, now you're going in to help the patients and you're
Right.
happy.
Right.
All right, you guys, take care. And don't
That's
forget, no
right.
gatekeeping. Share this
Yeah.
podcast, you guys. Refer your friends, your nurse friends. As you guys already know, every week we're bringing amazing nurses who are doing amazing things and really transforming what nurses look like. Okay, so make
Yes.
sure you guys share this podcast out. Bye bye. We appreciate you.